Probably the Bury a Friend video. I don't know if any of you've seen it. It came out a couple days ago. Mm-hmm. It would be in the realm of that. Everybody thinks I sold my soul to the Illuminati. I don't really know what the Illuminati is, to be honest with you.
That's what somebody would say if they sold their soul to the Illuminati.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. I've covered this demon, Billie Eilish, or let's just call her what she is, Billie Vomit, because this person has just been pushed so heavily in YouTube all over the place as this new artistic musician, and all the videos are not just the sound of it, which is just purely the sound that you would hear at a highway rest stop if you walked into the men's room right next to McDonald's. That's what the music sounds like. But all she's doing is showing demonic possession, talking about devil worship, and people think that this stuff is all a joke. I mean, if you were writing a song, okay, you would be, I mean, what would, like, people were like, oh, well, I would think about, relationships and all this kind of stuff. Everything she writes and talks about is devil worship. So this new song that she has out called All the Good Girls Go to Hell literally is about Lucifer. She says things like, my Lucifer is lonely. Standing there killing time, can't commit to anything but a crime. Peter's on vacation, an open invitation. Animals, evidence, pearly gates look more like a picket fence. Once you get inside them, got friends, but can't invite them. Hills burn in California, my turn to ignore you. Don't say I didn't warn you. All the good girls go to hell. Because even God herself has enemies. And again, another one of the agendas that we're hearing nonstop is this God is a woman theme. We see it with Ariana Grande, right? A lot of these celebrities come out with the women's empowerment, feminist stuff, and they try to speak that God is a woman. Okay, I don't know, how there's people who come and they go, oh, you're just being sexist. God's not a man either. Well, I don't know. I'm pretty sure the Bible says father. Last time I checked, a father can't be a woman unless, of course, you buy into the gender identity crisis that we have going on in our world today. But she says all good girls go to hell because even God herself is enemies. And once the water starts to rise and heaven's out of sight, she'll want the devil on her team. All right? And then you get these idiots, who sit here and defend these people. You get Billie herself or himself even going and doing interviews where they have to deflect about being involved in secret societies and the occult. And, of course, they always will mention the Illuminati as a trigger word because then people automatically roll their eye and they're like, oh, yeah, the Illuminati, like it's real, right? We've seen so many celebrities bring it up and just use it as a form of comedy for deflection. So it must be a coincidence that Billie brings that up. And then all of these songs, she's got, black goo dripping out of her eyes, black goo dripping out of her face, probably got black goo dripping out her rear end. And Lord knows where else she's got black goo coming out. But you get this person indoctrinating the youth, right? These are the people who are gunning for the teens, the young audience out there, and indoctrinating them with this Luciferian mindset, right? This, be your own God, rebel against God. Lucifer is, like the exact quote in the song, she'll want the devil on her team. Why would you want the devil on your team? I mean, if you're a natural born loser, you would, because the devil has already lost. And it's like I always say, winners worry about winning and losers worry about winners. Well, these loser Luciferians sure worry a lot about God, the true God, Yahweh. And they think that, they're going to somehow fight off Judgment Day and they're going to win somehow. And then you get this other ridiculous, here's just some quotes at the bottom. My Lucifer is lonely. There's nothing left to save now. My God is going to owe me. There's nothing left to save now. So you're referring to my Lucifer. But then people will come out and say that she's not a Satanist, right? And then another video comes out, which is trending like number one on YouTube, called Bad Guy, where she's actually doing the ritual of dumping the milk into the guy's mouth. Now, some people go, oh, that's just like a sexual reference, women's empowerment thing. I mean, just some gross stuff. But we always see the milk used, okay? And this milk baptism, this satanic baptism in milk, and milk used in all these witchcraft rituals from Marina Abramovich talking about, the importance of the milk in these rituals. Aleister Crowley talks about it, right? The breast milk of a woman being used. And then you see these people just taking baths in milk, and nobody thinks anything of it. They're just like, oh, that's sexy. Kim Kardashian's dumping milk in her head. Fergie's dumping milk in her face, Billie Eilish is dumping milk in some guy's mouth. Oh, and then look, we get the Satanists outside the abortion clinic, because that goes hand in hand, dumping milk on top of, each other's heads dressed as adult babies. I mean, you can't make up how obvious this stuff is, but it's amazing to me that people even call this stuff a conspiracy and they actually can label this as art. What planet do you have to be from to label this as art? 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 Are you kidding me? You get these people, they come out day in and day out, and I can't even imagine if this song was backmasked. Can you imagine some of the stuff you would hear if this song was backmasked? Some of the discuss. I mean, there's, most of these songs you can backmask it because they have a secret message in it that people go, well, that just sounds kind of crazy, but they don't realize that your brain can pick things up in reverse, and they also don't realize the law of reversals with Aleister Crowley. But I'm not listening to this thing in backmasking. If somebody else wants to put out a video on it, they can. But you get to a point where it's just day in and day out with these people. It's the same thing. Constantly talking about God, mocking Christ, constantly praising Lucifer, constantly praising the devil, using him in lyrics and songs, right? Even lyrics like Peter's on Vacation, An Open Invitation, Animals and Evidence, right? These are references to sacrifice as well. The Hills Burn in California, My Turn to... I mean... she's talking about end times prophecies as well, and then saying that, God has enemies and that Lucifer is lonely and that Lucifer needs people on his team, or you should want to be on, what is the exact quote? Let me see again. The devil, she'll want to the devil on her team, right? And then people come and they go, well, this isn't satanic. This is art. I mean... I don't know, if you were sitting there writing a song and this is what comes out, and if you're somebody who's like, oh, I want to be a musician and a singer. Okay, well, there's people who make Christian music and they write, songs about their love of Christ and prophecy and, use scripture like the Psalms and the songs and stuff like that, because that's what's on their mind. That's what they're thinking about. That's what they're passionate about. So how does nobody hear and see when these artists come out and talk like this, worshiping and praising Lucifer, that they're sitting there and they're writing these things as almost like a recruitment video and a praise to Lucifer? What do you think? She's just like, oh no, I'm an atheist, I don't believe in God or the devil, and she's sitting in her room and this is the lyrics that she comes up with? And people are just so naive. They don't think about anything. They just automatically think that everything is just like, yeah, no big deal. Yeah, this is what, just popped into her head. She's doing milk baptism. She's doing blood rituals in videos. She's got blood coming out her nose, smearing it all over her face in the video, the new video that's trending. I can't imagine what this video is going to look like. I'm probably going to have to cover it when it comes out, because it's probably going to be absolutely filled with demonic possession, demonic images, and people are going to see it and they're just going to be like, no. And I get it. If you're somebody out there who's an adult, you're like, yeah, who cares, right? Who cares? But it's not us who are influenced by these people, us who are awake. It's the teens out there who are influenced by these lowlifes. These scumbags prey off the minds of the teen. Remember when you were a teen, and maybe it was before you woke up, there was a musician that you probably like, that you still probably might defend. I have people who are fully awake, but then they defend, certain musicians because they go, yeah, but I don't know, because they liked their music when they were growing up. Or an actor, they liked one of the movies he was in, or they liked a movie, so they don't want to believe that there's, occultic symbolism and Illuminati predictive programming in the movie, right? Like you see with all these Star Wars geeks. There's truthers who are awake and they're like really into Star Wars, and they don't see any of the symbolism in Star Wars with the New World Order and God and the devil and all. It's amazing to me. But they don't realize that when children and teens are targeted, these are the people who are influencing them. And it's not just through how they dress, how they act, which of course is a big part of it. It's through the lyrics in their music, because this is an indoctrination for them. And their brain might not be processing these lyrics as they hear them in real time, because they might not even understand what they're saying. Because remember, you'll hear a song 10 times over and you might know the lyrics, but you never sat there and thought about the lyrics. You might be able to recite a Katy Perry song because you heard it 20 times in a row on the radio one day, and everywhere you went it was blasting, but your brain might not be processing what the song is about right then and there. But your brain is storing that, and it's accessing that over time, because it's being put in your head. And these lyrics, like when you hear somebody say something, a sentence, and suddenly, they have a song stuck in your head. Well, that's because those lyrics were likely in the song, and your brain is bringing that memory back. That's why sometimes you'll wake up with a song stuck in your head, because this stuff gets buried into your mind. So they're burying all of this into people's heads and teenagers' heads, that Lucifer is good, that God is bad, that Jesus is bad. Right? And that's how they indoctrinate people. And that's how they bring about this, Antichrist system and this worship of Lucifer. That's how they bring it out. Because it's already been ingrained in their minds. Just like these codes, these signs and symbols have been ingrained in their minds. It's scary to think about how much influence these people have over the youth, but they have a large influence over them. So this is Billie again, Billie Vomit coming out and just, deflecting on Illuminati, having songs about Lucifer, worshiping Lucifer, that we should be on the devil's side. I mean, and then people will come and they'll be like, what an artistic song. Oh, she doesn't really mean it, right? Oh, okay, so like when other musicians write songs about like an ex, do they not really mean it? Oh, that's different, right? I mean, doesn't mean it. I mean, this is supposed to be like poetry with sound, right? I mean, give me a break. This stuff is just such nonsense, and people just continue to be blind to it because they don't want to accept that this is really what's going on in the world, because it's scary, and they'd rather be naive. And that's why so many people can't stand my channel, well, for many reasons, but one of which is that it's an attack on their heroes, their idols, right? And they get all butthurt about it. And then they were like, oh, you're just preaching gloom and doom. No, I'm not. I'm not saying the world's ending tomorrow. I'm not saying get your bags and go run into the woods. I'm showing you what's going on right in front of your face. It's just a matter of if you want to actually accept it and see it, or you want to be naive to it and blind to it, right? Because that's not my problem if that's how you want to live. Go ahead.